Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. Today's topic of conversation, Front Porch Convo. Good morning. Coming to you live from Acts Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's The Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay. Steve's not here today, but I'm sure he'll be in the loop. Get this. Good.
What? Hey, you're grunting over there. What's that all about?
It was me. I'm sorry. I'm being weird. All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
I'm glad to have everybody on board with us today. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's not so hot. It's kind of cloudy out there today. Good morning, Steve Schultz and Steve McAllister. Today is we're going to do the old school way Front Porch Convo portion of the show. Steve Schultz says morning to Steve. Steve McAllister says morning to Steve Schultz.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Yeah.
I'm there.
Are you there? I'm sharing right now. But you guys need to do the same thing. Share, share, share.
Please.
Do you believe in life after love? Get it?
Yeah.
Share.
I'm alive.
You know, I was talking to a lady because I'm so excited. We got a new show coming up next Thursday. Next Thursday. That show starts. Penny for Your Thoughts. That's what it's called. And it's with Susan Abar. Susan Abar. She has written Bible studies for women, and she's going to have a lot of women on there. There'll be some men on her show.
And conducted them. COVID shut them down.
Yeah. So
this is an opportunity for her to bring them back in a new way.
what's really cool is like yesterday, or just a day before yesterday, before she came in here, she had gotten a call from somebody saying, giving her a prophetic word about, shutting down her store, putting it all online, and then making it, being prepared to speak to thousands.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, we have a spot that comes open on Thursdays, from 9 to 10.
Yeah.
And she's willing to commit an hour a week.
Yeah.
And she's authored these amazing Bible studies, and she's soft-spoken enough to reach out to the secular world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
When does our thing arrive for the CD thing?
it was supposed to arrive yesterday, but it was on the truck.
Excellent.
I don't know. They probably forgot to
It's
deliver.
not very big, so it probably was also buried.
Yeah.
And hard to find. And
So
they're
it's-
busy.
it's
They're
arriving
so
today.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I serve those guys at work.
Yeah.
All of them.
And we have the same one. I was watching, and he goes all the way out into Oklahoma
Does he?
and then comes back around. Like, we're near the end of his day.
Right.
And, because they have this really cool app. The UPS guy has this app where you can follow him, follow your package.
Really?
Yeah. And you can
Interesting.
follow it in real time.
Really?
Yeah. And it's like, maybe not real time. Like, it updates every, couple minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see all the different places he goes. It doesn't give you the exact address, obviously, because you don't want to,
Yeah, 'cause you
there's
can't.
creepy stalkers out there.
Yeah,
but-
and where to steal something.
yeah, exactly. I feel, I pray nobody tries to steal anything from our house. Dad was talking about, and this is a Front Porch Convo show.
Who wants to shoot somebody today?
Nobody wants to shoot anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do, there's something wrong with you. Let's face it. If you want to shoot somebody, there's something about your value of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it comes right down to it. Steve Schultz says, I do have to share too. Do I have to share too? That's what Steve McAllister said. And he says, laugh out loud. Just kidding. Um, Susan does plan to be Steve's guest on Monday, and we're going to talk about the premiere of her show then. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
exciting.
no, Dad and I were talking, and one night, he, the dogs went crazy in the middle of the night, and he let them out, and there was a car parked there pointing.
When
Like-
was this?
This was years ago.
Oh yeah.
And what all started was, he was on the front porch sitting down. We talk in the mornings,
Uh-huh.
and he said that, him and Uncle Billy back in the day could tell exactly what year, make, and model of car it was just by the headlights.
Oh yeah.
Which, yeah, I mean, he's a diagnostician. He knows cars.
Yeah.
But he said, he's sitting there and he's looking at, he's letting the dogs out, and they were out in the front, pointed that way. And I think that's whenever there was more bushes there, so he didn't see it right away because the person had their headlights off. And then he heard it start up, and then he brought the dogs in the house and watched them through his bathroom window, which is very it's easy to watch the road from that window without anybody knowing you're watching, because the window's like this big, about like that tall. And he called the police. The police said, he had his gun on him just in case, because somebody sitting outside your house in a dead-end street in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
that's pretty suspicious.
Yeah. Well, they're up to no good.
Yeah, and they got super hearing dogs,
Yeah.
so those dogs, I think the only person that can get by them without making the dogs bark is me.
Right.
But I had a lot of practice
Yeah.
coming in too late.
And they
whenever I
probably
was-
know your sound.
Yeah. The dog, Dad has to let Hannah out, like, before I'm even down around the corner. She can hear me coming down the road.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember your dogs? How they would be out and up at the fence, but before I even pulled up, because of the squealing of my brakes,
Yeah.
they knew I was coming because they could hear
you
the.
come up from the stop sign,
That was super funny because
which was a block and a half away.
when I finally did the brakes,
Mm-hmm.
you could see the ribs in the rotor.
Oh yeah.
And I always saw those things hanging up at the shop.
Yeah.
I missed the shop. That was a really good
Yeah, it
place to
was.
go. It was a safe place
It was
too,
a community and family.
except for if I smarted off to Uncle Bill.
You don't want to do that.
No, that was a bad idea.
Yes.
And he would use your mom to threaten me, to make me eat my
About
crust.
the pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so
Well, we grew up in a time where there wasn't a lot of food.
no, and pizza crust.
They were doing commodities back then.
And now I'm at an age where I love pizza crust. But hey, let's
too.
let me get back to the story before I forget.
Yeah.
So, because I know you think this is hilarious.
Yeah. I've seen a
So we took the tire off, took the rotor off, and Dad goes, because I had told him it just started making noise a couple weeks ago. And he looked at it and he looked at me and he goes, "A couple weeks ago, huh? Just started making noise a couple weeks ago." So when we went to get new rotors for it, well, not new, we went to a junkyard to get rotors because apparently I don't know when to stop and take them off. Anyways,
and they're easy. Rotors are easy to do.
yeah. Well, and I was just, I've grown up since then.
Yes, you have.
I know it may sound kind of crazy, but I really have. Like,
Yeah, because you just did a bunch of work on your car, putting in
oil
new calipers,
changes,
and
new calipers, and I've gotten like 3 or 4 more miles to the gallon
doing that
just
work.
because that brake has been dragging this whole time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't dragging enough last
it was
time.
pretty squirrely.
Yeah.
I
well,
remember
the first
right-
time.
First
That's-
time I drove it,
that's
I was
'cause-
like, "What is wrong with this car?"
Yeah, and that was the other brake caliper.
Which
that
was
was locked up.
What was scary was you were like, "Oh, it drives nice," and I was like,
I just got used to
I'm
it.
driving, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
You hit the
can't do
brakes
that.
and it's
hardly
like,
keep it on
"Yeah."
the road.
Every time you
Yeah.
hit the brakes, it like veers over to one side.
And there's narrow roads between my house.
That
and
means that you've got a brake
yours.
dragging.
Yeah.
Okay, just letting you guys know that
Yeah.
there.
Check your calipers.
So we go into this. We go into a
Junkyard.
which is one. Dad knows all the junkyard people, and he made a point to bring the rotor in, and we held it up to the guy behind the counter. He said, "This is my son's. It just started making noise a couple weeks ago," and they all laughed at me. It's like,
Because that
Hey,
is pretty funny.
He's like, hey, look, it just started making noise a couple weeks ago. And they just started laughing. Everybody in there started laughing at me. And he goes, did you guys want to keep this? And they looked at each other and go, yeah. So
Put it up on the wall.
my caliper's probably hanging, or my rotor's hanging up on the wall right
At
now
the junkyard.
at a junkyard.
Probably with a sign
It
saying
says-
it just started making noise a couple weeks ago.
Started making noise a couple weeks ago. And then another story Dad tells, which is really funny. But, I mean, being in a shop, I mean, he saw a lot of weird stuff. A guy came in with a hole in his tire. Dad plugged the tire,
Yeah.
right? Probably didn't even charge him for it. Just
Probably
plugged it.
not.
All right, well, the ignition or something broke on the car.
Yeah.
And he came in wanting Dad to fix it, saying, it never did that until you plugged my tire.
Yeah.
And Dad's, I didn't touch anything but your tire. I don't know what makes you think that I did something to it, but I didn't. So, bye. But Dad
Yeah.
tells that story a lot better than I do.
Well, you don't want to have that person even as a customer.
Yeah. And so now that's like a joke if we do something together and we
Just
find
started
something.
making noise a couple weeks ago.
We start, like, if we find something that's like damaged or something, we'll also be like, Dad, it was never like that till you plugged my tire. And he goes, I know, right?
All right.
Hey. Good morning, Larry Melton.
Good morning.
Um,
Good morning, everybody. Yes, the power
yes,
hour will
yes,
be the
we
slot
both
that's taken.
saw that. Yeah, she's taking the power hour slot due to advertising requirements. We have to have that be
Live
a
slot.
live part because we can't just play videos. This is a live broadcast, and
And we
it's also
love
on,
the power hour.
we do love the power hour. So Skylar and I
We
recorded
love
one.
Skylar, too.
last night.
Amazing young man.
And so I'm going to put his recordings, whenever he does record them, from the 10 to 11 slot until somebody comes available that wants to do a live portion. And then we'll move it around as we go because live stuff takes precedence here, because we want to be able to get more sponsors. Speaking of sponsors.
Yes.
Speaking of sponsors, today's show is brought to you and proudly sponsored by Steamy Joe Cafe at 224 West Main Street in Branson, Missouri. That's 417-320-3046. The information is right down on the bottom of the screen. Go in now. Tomorrow is the last day for this week's Morning Drive Special. All right, that's going to be buy one, get one free. Steamy Joe Supreme Salad, which is a small salad, but you can get two of them.
And it has sour cream.
So it goes from a small salad to a big salad real quick.
A meal.
Yeah, it is a meal.
Yeah.
Make sure, it'll fill you up.
Yeah.
So
I haven't been there. I haven't had it yet. I got to get up there.
but you're going to.
I know.
So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too.
I need to get out there one day whenever it's not so busy and just have a good sit down and talk because they've got this really cool living room area
Yeah.
that has got couches and a couple of cocktail tables.
Right.
And you can just
What
sit.
is a cocktail table?
It's the small round table.
Oh, okay.
Now you can have bar tables, which are higher,
Ah,
but these are smaller. They're about like that big around. The tables are, give or take, and you can.
I like
seat
a
two
table that I
people.
can pull up to. I'm a messy eater.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like a blender or garbage disposal.
Mom and Dad. It's funny whenever they get ready
the
to
table
eat.
should be right here on me.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
the way to keep things
Hold
as
a
neat
table
and clean
tray
as possible.
up to your neck right here. And have
Yeah.
it set in the plate, and you're holding it like this, and you're eating.
Yeah, because otherwise it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah. Don't eat over your computer.
Not really. I'm not really that bad. But sometimes, I mean, if it's good, you know what I've been craving is taco salad or taco pizza.
Taco pizza. That sounds really good.
Supreme taco salad with sour cream.
Now, see, taco salads are great.
They
I don't know
are.
if they have a taco salad there or not. I don't have the menu, but I'm sure they probably have the stuff they can make it. Like I like to go to a grocery store and get that. It's like made by Ortega. It's like a taco sauce,
Yeah.
and it's good on everything.
Ooh,
It's good on everything.
Yes, it is.
It's like you can put it like
Their meat seasoning is good and everything too.
Yeah. Oh, I've recently discovered Valentina chili lime seasoning.
What?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
And what I do is I have this thing called a Hot Logic Mini that
I have a
that I
roast, by
use.
the way.
Do you?
Yeah,
I still have a tri-tip I got to smoke.
it's a nice roast.
Is it?
Hmm.
Nice roast. What kind of roast?
I got it
Is it
for
pork roast?
Well, actually, I got it for a stew,
Is it
but
pork?
I like to get the better cuts.
Yeah.
I like to upgrade
Pork or
the
beef?
stew. Beef.
Beef.
Mm.
Love beef.
I got some pork slabs. I was gonna make pork and beans.
Jim says, "Love your shirt. Looks like his from Belize." I can
Yeah.
shop at regular retail stores now, and this shirt just shouted out at me, and it was on sale. So I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
it does." I feel like I'm on vacation.
You do. You look like you're on vacation.
I went to
and the the scarf.
yeah. I have enough. I like to match scarves.
Yeah,
You know, I'm weird like that.
scarf's good. They're stylish.
They are stylish.
Yeah.
I can wear a scarf now and not feel weird about it. I always wanted to wear a
I
scarf.
like the mask thing.
Yeah, I do too.
It
I
is
was
going to have a good effect on our society. I think it will. Once people get past it and realize, look, stop complaining. You're not
if
going
you
to
want to
get out of
complain about
this.
something, complain about
You put on that
personal
mask,
property tax or something like that.
and you'll see more people looking you in the eye.
Yes, and you can see when someone smiles.
Yeah.
And it imagine the people right now that are
Strangers aren't so scary either.
no. I mean, I always make it a point when I go walk into a grocery store, I'll have my sunglasses on and I'll have this up like this, right? And I usually open carry.
Yeah.
So I don't want people to freak out. So what I do
Right.
is I just take my glasses off
Put 'em
so
on your
people
hat.
can see me, and I make sure to say, "Hi, how you doing?" so they can hear that I am not
In an aggressive.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not that bad. I've been taking my pulse ox, and it's still 98, 99 when I have this on. It's just a little claustrophobic. But if those masks, like you're wearing, like to do this, make you feel claustrophobic and like to where you have a hard time breathing or whatever, try and use a bandana because it covers you all the way down to here,
Yeah.
and there's a lot more space. And
And look, these things are cheap.
yeah, I bought
So try different ones.
I bought a
till you-
12 pack of these for like $7.
Yep. Yeah. These, I don't know how much this was, but because my work gave it to me. But the the Trump ones are $5. You can get them for less.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, I support or don't support Trump because I don't know, are we supposed to political?
Jim says the mask is Halloween season all year round.
We had people come in. People were not allowed to wear masks in our store.
No, because you guys have been
a long
robbed.
time ago.
People have been robbed
I don't know.
before.
I don't know if we have, but I never freaked out or panicked when somebody did.
No, you probably made it a point to talk to them.
I
if
watched
know
them
you.
very closely, and yeah, there were some people I did tell you can't wear a mask.
Yeah,
Once I was made aware of the policy that they couldn't. So
and what cracks me up about it is now people are wanting to make a stand about something they consider unconstitutional, and it's masks.
yeah,
If you're gonna make a stand about something, what about the fact that the government can take your house if you don't pay your personal property tax?
yeah. Even if you fully paid for the house,
Over and over again, you end up paying for it 2 or 3 times in your
yeah,
lifetime.
all your interest.
That's
everything.
something to be upset about.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
because that is your money, your
yes.
investment, your house, your property.
But if you want to make a stand about masks, hey, that's
Go
your
ahead,
that's your
yeah.
thing. This is a free country. You can make a stand about whatever you want.
Taxation without representation, double
Yeah.
taxation of your income.
Yeah.
Because what do you think income tax and sales tax are?
Yeah.
If
Steve,
you have an
I guess
income
you could.
tax, you shouldn't be able to have a sales tax. If you have a sales tax, you shouldn't be able to have an income tax because you can't buy anything without paying sales tax. Therefore, you're paying income tax.
Yeah.
You're paying tax on the
paying
dollars
tax on
you
everything.
earn.
And if you sell a car, if you buy a car that's already had the tax paid for it numerous times,
Yeah.
you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But if you want to make a stand about masks and not that, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah.
Steve Schultz said, first of all, he said, I was thinking dad shirt. This looks like a shirt my dad would wear.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I'm on vacation all the time. This is a Front Porch Convo show today,
Now, I'm not saying taxation is bad. I'm saying
No.
without representation.
Right.
And these funds that things go into that are named one thing and can be actually used for anything like a general fund, that's inappropriate. They
Right.
need to tell us what they're taxing us for, what it's going to go to, and how much it's going to cost, what it costs when it's complete. The tax needs to go away when the project's complete.
Yep.
And they need to balance a book and show us the dividend.
Where it went? Yeah. What
If
happened?
there was an excess, what that's excess going to go to? If we came up short, how are we going to pay for it? How long do we need to extend the tax to pay for it?
Right.
They need to be openly transparent about those things. And they're not.
Steve Schultz says he has to use a ladder for them high tables.
I think the dividend. I think that stuff should be listed on your pay
Tax-
stub.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
You
so
should
too.
be able to check the progress of those taxes, the projects that go into, what it costs, and how much. You should be able to keep track of that. And yeah, maybe to be a long stub. They could put it in layman's terms instead of
Steve-
legal terms, though.
Steve
That would
Mickey
make it
Mac
easier.
is watching and commenting. He's not here today, but he should be back tomorrow. I tell
So
you
I had
what,
a disappointing day yesterday.
yeah, you went riding out to some property you were looking to buy.
Well, I mean, I can't buy a piece of property. I don't have the money. But I loved this idea and this piece of property. Beautiful.
Well-
Way out there, 77 miles away.
Yeah, but what did I tell you about it, though?
A little mountaintop.
God didn't want you to have it.
Steep sides to the mountain except for the southeast facing. It was mostly south, slightly east facing slope that was gentle. The whole rim of the mountaintop was a pine grove. And there's oaks up there. Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's high, nice and high. The valley on either side of it has a creek.
But you can actually use you can use a creek that's running to supply yourself with power too.
Well, the creeks weren't actually on the property.
Oh,
But
that makes me sad.
but if you want to go jump in a creek, you can just drive down the road.
Yeah.
Boom, you're there. But another thing that was so beautiful about it, it was that the banks that were not part of the property, so you didn't own the whole mountain, just mountaintop. Well, the banks of it were so steep that you wouldn't have a neighbor right there. You might
Right.
have one down below you a little bit, kind of up the next.
Unless they don't drink V8.
Yeah.
Get it?
So it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spot that was good where there wasn't really room for a lot of neighbors to be close to you. Just beautiful. And all wooded with, like I said, a pine grove around the rim of the mountain, which was your pine grove, most of it. Just amazing spot. I get up there. I see the area, the little township that was there.
And you start trying to call immediately.
And I loved it. I thought, this is just amazing. And tried to call immediately and ask about seeing. She said, and it was busy. Phone was busy. No answer. So I called the 800 number. The lady that was in charge of the land answered the phone. I said, hey, I'm up here at this 17 acres, in total where it was, and said, I want to know if I can go on the property and take a look. And she said, I just sold that.
That's divine intervention. Because if she hadn't, you would have talked to her. You would have worked a deal with her right then and there.
If I could have, but here's the thing. I was heartbroken.
I know.
I've been looking at land. Well, I've always looked at land. I've always wanted to have a piece of land since I was in my early 20s. Since I
Morning,
moved out
Susan.
here and saw that what land could be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Since I moved from Massachusetts out
Because
here.
you're a builder. You're
And
a
I
craftsman.
I love to build. I enjoy camping. I enjoy the woods. Always have. All of those things. It was just so perfect. So, and I'm interested in tiny home, off grid, being a gentle south-facing slope with actually the mountain top being on the property, which is perfect for solar.
Sunbathing.
Not a great opportunity there anywhere that I could see. You'd have to make one that would be good for a septic.
Mm.
And the soils, being that it's a forest, probably wouldn't be great for septic. You'd have to build a soil for it or bring some in. Or you'd have to build an appropriate size septic, the lateral lines would have to be a certain number of feet according to what kind of soil there is.
Yeah.
So I don't think bringing any in.
But that's all like code and stuff is all confusing.
It's not. It's not necessarily code. It's unrestricted, but you want the system to work.
Yeah.
If it's not going to work,
because if crap rolls downhill too fast.
Well, and the thing about it is, soil is the key to the septic.
Really?
All the other parts of the septic
it's
system
gotta be
are
absorbent.
really not as important as the soil. The soil has to have the right kind of microbes, the right number of microbes. You judge the length of your lateral lines by how many people will be using the system, how much water will be going through the system, and how many microbes are in the soil that's going to be part of the system. See, the soil above the lateral lines is part of the system. So, yeah, that would have been difficult. Anyways, that's boring, so we'll get off of that.
Well, I mean,
but I was heartbroken. I came back very, very angry, upset, hurt,
pretty
felt
sad
betrayed in some way. You know, because I liked it.
Wait till you get the property that God has in store for you. It's gonna
God
be
may
so
not have
much
us. You know, I'm not going to be foolish and say that God has a piece of property for me. I don't know what God has for me, and I'm not going to tell God what He has.
Whatever
for
it
me.
is, it's His will.
Yeah. Apparently, this wasn't.
I mean,
So
you and I might be roommates for the rest of our lives.
could be the drive out there, the ride out there. 14, beautiful road all the way out there, well maintained, in good condition. 95, which was right off of the drive, good road. You know, little less well maintained, had a few little potholes, but they were filled and they were maintained well. You tell it was a good road. It was a good road. And then C was just up the road and around the bend, and C was a great road to get back to 60 highway. Crossing 160, crossing 76. So all of the roads there and back were just beautiful, great motorcycle riding roads. And I love to ride my motorcycle, especially on those kind of roads. There's nothing else like it for me in my life that I've experienced. And I say like it, not better or worse. This is up there with the best things that I can do in my life. So it was just perfect, and it was gone. So
it makes me sad. Well,
but on the way back, I realized, I thought about it. First of all, yeah, I'm angry, and I talked to God about it openly, honestly. I told him, I prayed about it while I was riding, and told God how I felt about the whole situation and what I wanted. And and then I asked forgiveness, and I said, I understand that this may not be what you have for me, but this is what I want. So, your will be done. And it is a long ride, though it was a beautiful and wonderful ride. To do it 5 days a week, I'm not so sure would be that it wouldn't wear on me and be a regret after a while. And I wouldn't want to find that out either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was a regrettable distance, especially once winter comes. And so there were some things about it that weren't so great. But everything about it that was perfect would have been enough for me to make an irrational decision about it. So I have to thank the Lord that His will is done, that my will was not, because my will is flawed.
Our will is flawed.
Yeah. Yeah, so my mood didn't stay so bad so long. I was in a little bit of a sad mood for a few hours.
Well, and I just, I can't wait till we start the projects out on the farm.
Yeah.
Yep. It's going to be, that's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun because I can help you with that stuff. Now that I've got more range of motion and stuff like that, I can help you with that.
Yeah.
And it's going to help Mom and Dad out.
Ooh. What we just said. But yeah, and I know that I can help them with things that they need there, and to help family, people that I love, people who love me. Your father's given so much to me as far as my faith goes, which is the cornerstone of my life.
Yeah.
And learning it from him was easy because his faith was so great that it was easy to see God working. It was easy. We're blessed in that way.
Yeah, He is.
To see faithful people who love God do things out of faith that would seem irrational, and then to see God work through that is what is one of the reasons and examples that I was able to turn my life around. You know, they
Yeah.
say your children won't go far from what you teach them. And your father's not my father, but he's part of my family and one of the men who I've
It's one of the
observed
patriarchs.
living life and getting
Is it
through life well.
It's patriarch, right? Patriarch.
Yeah,
He's one of the patriarchs of the family.
yeah. And he turned his own life around.
Yeah.
So looking at that example that matches so closely to mine is really a good one. And turning to faith in God and believing in God and committing your works to God is something you can see clearly through his life as a positive
Sorry, I wasn't
thing.
even thinking.
Something you want. You
Uh,
weren't?
I wasn't even thinking.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
you weren't thinking?
Nope, I wasn't thinking.
So here's another thing that's going on is I'm looking at the stock market.
Yeah,
and
how's that
it
going?
just started. Ooh, it dropped. I just
That's all right.
lost.
It'll jump back up
Big
tomorrow.
Well,
So one thing about Wong, what's that? Was that mine or yours? That was mine, wasn't it?
was what? No, that wasn't mine. I think that was the computer.
So did you see all the pictures Barney posted of us setting up down at the square?
I did. Yes.
That was when Brad Cox was still part of the band, and we were playing for that pastor's Recovery Awareness Month.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well-
we can't just sit here and look at our phones all the
Well,
time.
no, but I should have done what I thought. I should have done what I expected I should have done first thing, and that was to sell that. But
Steve Schultz says, I
I
know, I
didn't.
look up to your dad, Matt.
this is more important anyway.
Yeah. Morning, Jana Hale. Yeah, and Dad, I need to get Dad one of these shirts because he wears Hawaiian shirts a lot.
Yeah.
And I think him and I actually have one that's exactly the same, the blue one.
Yeah.
And he eyeballed this one the moment I walked in the house. He's like, "Ooh,
Did he?
yeah." So I think I'm gonna get him one. I might even wear the same size as him now. I don't know. So also, real quick before I forget, we also have another sponsor of the show.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing one of their shirts right at the moment, but I will be. Ozark Mountain Craft Mall has sponsored our show, and that's at 1940 Missouri 76. That's Country Music Boulevard. In Branson, Missouri, 417-320-1221. She doesn't only do shirts, but she does mugs, decals, all kinds of stuff.
And there are other vendors there.
Yeah.
How many vendors does she have?
There's a lot. There's a lot of vendors there.
Yeah.
So you go there and check out all the cool stuff there. I
Yeah.
intend on in the next few weeks when I'm off on a weekend, I'm going to go out there and visit the place
Yeah.
and
That's a good idea.
do a walkthrough and be like, hey, what's all that? What's
So
that?
we can talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about it because they are a sponsor
Yeah.
of the show.
Well, I mean, talk about what we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. So go on out there and check it out. If you're headed to Branson anyways, you can go to the Ozark Mountain Craft Mall first and then go to Steamy Joe Cafe
Yes.
or vice versa
And then see a show.
and then see a show.
Because Steamy Joe closes early, don't they?
Yeah, they close at 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, yeah.
So
Unless they sell out.
unless they sell out, then they.
Yep.
But I can understand that completely.
Keeping it fresh. That's why it's so good.
Yeah, and it is delicious food. It's absolutely incredible. The chicken salad croissants are good.
Oh, man.
The
I haven't had
the
one, but I
breakfast
want one.
burrito. Yeah, and these are like real croissants made and then cut in half, and they're huge. And the chicken salad, oh man, my mouth is watering right now.
Yeah.
It's like
Yep.
that's drool dropping off my face.
Yep.
So
So Ozark Mountain Craft Mall, Steamy Joe Cafe. You can go see a show. Who is the Ozark Mountain? No, the Bald Knobbers show. What theater is that?
that's I can't remember.
Find out.
Find out.
Check
yeah.
out the box office.
They we're friends with Brandon Mabe of the Bald Knobbers,
Brandon Mayer,
and
Bald Knobbers.
he's a great guy. I
Yeah.
love having him on the show.
Isn't it
He's so-
historic something theater?
I don't know. I can't remember. I need to text him and find out.
Yeah.
I asked him one time. I was like, "Should I do I ask for you when I get there, or if I want to visit with you, he goes,
You've got my number.
just text me.
Yeah.
And it still dawned, it still hadn't dawned on me. Yeah, I've got pretty well-known people in my contacts now. Branson famous people.
Yeah, we got to meet
Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbo.
I know.
Interview him. We sat down.
He didn't
across
give me
from
his
him at
cell
the
phone
table.
number though, because I'd be like, "Hey, Kevin, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Send him a video. Hercules.
Yeah, he's a movie producer and a star, an actor.
Yeah, and he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
Yep.
I had so much fun talking to him.
Yeah, me too.
And I think
Well, it was an honor.
it was, and he was so easy to talk to.
Easy to talk
I
to.
mean, I was-
Likeable, friendly.
I was about to poop my pants nearabouts whenever I got up there. I mean, metaphorically speaking, because this guy was my hero as a kid. I never missed an episode of Hercules.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, here he is. I've seen him in so many things.
You were a little starstruck.
I was very starstruck. But that's why I just came right out of the gate and I said, I apologize up front. I am a huge fan of yours. I'm really nervous right now. I've never missed an episode whenever you were in Hercules when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that's really cool, man.
He came out on the catwalk,
Yeah.
but we had our backs to him.
Yeah.
And I think what I heard was his footsteps because he's a big guy,
Yeah. He's like 6'4".
6'4", and built like a tank.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He's he's older now, so he's rocking the dad bod now more than he was when he was playing Hercules.
He's still rocking it. He's still
But,
looking good.
yeah,
making
so
fatherhood
nice.
look good.
That movie, what was it, Miracle in East Texas?
Yeah.
I want to watch that
It was-
entire movie.
What we saw of it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and the cool thing about it, and we talked about it, he was just
You gotta
like,
go see it.
he's like, we're competing with all these people with all these graphics and these what do you call it, CGI graphics and everything,
Mhm.
multi-billion-dollar. And he calls the movies that he does actors movies.
Yeah.
And it focuses on the acting.
Yeah.
And there's no special effects really except for, stage props and things like that. But it's all acting. And he is such a good actor. Him and the old guy that played in Cheers. What was his name? I can't remember. The white-haired guy, the mailman.
The mailman, yeah.
And they teamed up in it. It was a great, great movie.
Well, and didn't they have who-
Barney is still taller. You are right about that, Steve Schultz.
Yes, he is. So great movie. What I saw about it was enough to know it's a great movie. You should see it and support what we believe in and making it. You know how things are.
Mm-hmm.
If something's more popular and more people have seen it, more people will find it and more people will look for it and more people will watch it. So it's really important to support them just by seeing the movies, which isn't a big investment. I mean, and what you
No.
get out of it is the entertainment.
And it's
the
got a good
story.
moral.
Yes.
Good morals in it. And the story is based on a true story. That was these guys that went around scamming widows,
Mhm.
pretending that they had a deal with their deceased husband to drill on their property.
Yeah.
And, when they didn't hit anything, they took all the money and left,
Yeah.
And then they
Well, they
started.
didn't even plan on hitting.
No,
anything. They
and
just
that was
made
in
it look
Oklahoma.
Like they were doing something.
Yeah, and then they moved to Texas, and they actually drilled, and they just kept striking oil
Yeah.
and helping all these people.
Yeah.
Well, they sold like so much, like 500% worth of this pretend company. So when they started striking oil,
Yeah.
they had all these. They had 500% that they were in trouble.
Yeah.
So they tried to scam a church,
Uh-huh.
and he said, "We're gonna drill right out in this pulpit,
Yeah.
right through this pulpit into the ground." They struck oil.
Yeah.
Well, long story short, that guy, his life changed. God changed his life,
God said, "Here I am,
and then he ended up
and I'm looking for you."
and it's all in the interview that we talked to Kevin Sorbo.
God does that to everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone I know,
I am getting ready.
everyone who lives, God reveals Himself to in a big way that's undeniable. And then to deny it, well, don't.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to find. There it is. There we go. I'm getting our coming up next is going to be our pre-recorded Power Hour from last night.
Yeah.
And then
we getting close? Oh, we're only at 8:39.
Yeah, 8:39. So if you're just now turning this in, if you're just now tuning in, this is the Front Porch Convo portion of the show, which is the entire show. In the original morning drive when we started back in 2015,
Yeah.
we called this the Front Porch Convo portion of the show, where we'd sit and just talk like we were sitting out on the front porch talking. And it got pretty popular as far as like people listening. We would start with the Front Porch Convo portion and then end with a Bible study.
Right.
Because when we lived together, we were on the front porch all the time just talking and talking. We talk about God, life. I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that again.
Yep.
Only we'll call it the Smoker Convo
Yeah.
because we're going to be sitting by a smoker
Yep.
while it's going. So, which I'm pretty excited about smoking that tri-tip. I haven't really had a chance to yet.
I don't know what the cut of roast that I have is. I'm gonna have to look at it because it's in the freezer. Been in the freezer for a month.
Well, the tri-tip, if you see it, man, it's like got the marbling all through it. It is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I got it from where they had just cut it. It's pre-trimmed and everything.
I don't know that this one had a lot of marbling. I know it had some because I always do look for that in any cut of meat
So
that I get.
expensive beef, isn't it?
But I got it because I knew I would cook it for a long time in a stew also.
Steve McAllister says he plans to return to the show. Surprise, Matt. Not sure when yet. So,
Who?
Kevin Sorbo
Oh, yeah, does he?
plans to come on the show.
Well,
but we don't know
am
when yet.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm sitting there putting the camera stuff together, and I'm like, Kevin Sorbo is sitting right there. And people misunderstood that to mean like I should have had time to set this up. No, I wasn't worried about the camera being set up. I was just like, Kevin Sorbo's sitting right there. Because I thought it was going to be just a press release, like where a bunch of people are standing out, he's standing up in front of everybody, and if I'm lucky, I got to ask a question or two. No, it was like this.
Right.
It was a table twice as wide as this and just as long. Kevin Sorbo sitting right there. Michael Phillips, Jay, me, Steve, O'Mickey Mac, Kevin Sorbo. And Steve's wife, Rachel O'Mickey Mac, bless her heart, was the camera person at the time. And next time I'm going to have a microphone plugged in to where it can cancel out some of the sound.
Yeah. I mean, it came out all right.
I
but
think that's
but it could have been. It needed to be better, and we should do better.
And we will.
Yep.
It was a learning experience. That was
Yeah,
the
it
first
was.
time we've ever done anything like
Do
that.
I have that equipment?
Yes.
I just have the. I think I just have the tripod.
No, you have the other thing too. You took it with you.
Did I?
Yep.
I'll have to make sure where
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, it's there somewhere.
Well, I know it's probably right there with underneath the tripod.
Yeah. Which we will be needing a tripod.
Because I ended up not using it. I went on a trip and was going to use it. But the trip ended up being, it was pretty long. It's a 3-day trip to Illinois. And on a motorcycle, it's a pretty long trip.
You went to Indiana, didn't you?
No, I said Indiana, but it was actually Illinois.
Oh, so it's right there on the line, probably.
The next. No. So Illinois, I guess, comes down kind of into a point, and I went through into the lower end of it and then up, not near central of it, but I went up quite a ways.
That's where we started. We started at Jay's house. We had recording booths because we were the band was doing some recording, and we set it up in there. And there was a little microphone, which I have in there on my desk right now, that Jim gave us to use.
Yeah,
and
the
it's
USB.
A USB microphone, and it was sitting on a little metal chair. Stool
This is a metal stool?
chair,
Yep.
right in the middle of this little bitty room, and we were sitting there just talking, like, "Hey, how's everybody?" Started out as 30 minutes.
Come to think of it, I don't even know where that stool is right now.
It's at your house somewhere.
I'm going to have to look.
Has to be.
Gosh,
You probably have something sitting on it that you use every day.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's
Probably.
and that's how it started. And it's funny because whenever we actually got the microphones set up,
Uh-huh.
but we had everything set up and ready to go. We had tested it.
Yep.
And everything. Everything was fine.
For hours getting it
For
right.
hours. Got it to where, because we didn't have a lot of viewers or
No.
listeners at that time.
Any.
So,
It was the first show.
we had like one or two a week.
Wasn't it
You
the
know,
first show?
It was it was the first
First show with these.
the first show with these that we tried having. We tried
Okay.
having set up working right, and so we had everything set up. It was working right, because I had the Axe Media Group or Axe Radio up right here on the phone,
Yeah.
and I would talk, and then I would hear it come through, and it worked fine.
Yeah.
Worked fine. Both microphones, everything. Nobody touched anything. Nothing.
Yep.
3 days later, boom, nothing worked.
Nothing worked.
We were like 20 minutes late to get it started. The show was only 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
And that's the development of this
That's how it
was
goes.
trial and error.
Yep.
Um,
But that's okay.
yeah, that's part of it. You know, whenever you learn by mistake and problem solving and stuff like that, you learn it more deeply.
Yep. This is
So,
true.
and then Steve Schultz would come on the show there for a little bit. The first time he came on the show, I had the guitar set up and we started singing. And it's funny because we weren't recording video at that time. It was just all audio.
Yeah.
And Steve had heard me play a couple times. And then, so I stretched the strings out and made it sound really awful. It sang really bad.
I remember that.
And
Yeah,
Steve
that
was like,
funny.
and he was like kind of looking around, like
Singing along.
singing along,
And
but
how do you find your tune?
not being rude or whatever. And you were like, yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, man, that's beautiful. I'm like, yeah, voice of an angel, right? And then we busted up laughing.
Yeah.
And, you know, Steve, bless his heart, he was, you know, he wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah.
He was just like, yeah.
You know, that's how we got off on the right foot with Steve. He's a great, fun guy to be around.
Mhm.
We really enjoyed having him and miss him. We don't really miss him because he's always,
He's watches every day.
yeah.
Every day.
But
So,
still,
yeah.
he was fun.
We need to have him come out and start catching cats
Yeah. Yep.
in my house. We've got like 20 or 30 generations.
What do your dogs think about that?
Oh, they, yeah. Hannah sits out there by the fence and just watches. And they mess with her.
Do they?
Oh, yeah. They know that she can't get to him.
Right.
So they're like,
Rubbing up
starts-
against the fence.
oh, no, they don't get that close. Because her little beak could go through the fence and bite them.
Yeah.
They're right across the street. And I'll sit there and watch them. They'll mess with her.
Yeah.
Like they do it intentionally, like to taunt her. Then we have some that are in our barn
Yeah.
that when I go in there, I see them run out. And I'm like, you don't have to run away. You're not hurting anything out here.
Uh-huh.
Just hang out, you know. I mean, I do like cats. Dogs are better, but cats are still pretty cool if you get a cool cat. Now, most cats, like you pet them, like you can pet their belly for like 5 seconds and then they attack you. But
Yeah. Some cats are okay with it. Rarely. But
yeah, Steve Schultz says that won't happen again because he caught a bunch out at, was it your aunt's house? Caught a bunch of feral cats and had them fixed and then let them back loose so
Yeah.
they couldn't keep populating the area.
right.
Which, I mean,
That's
boy,
what they do.
that had to cost a fortune.
And they can produce so quickly, cats.
Man, that's
can.
nuts.
They have litters. We had one that had a litter of 8. 8 cats, 8 kittens. One cat becomes 8.
Yeah. And then
And they
8
can
cats
do it every,
become
what,
20.
8 weeks? They can do it every 8 weeks or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember when we found one that somebody had dumped, and this kitten ended up in our yard somehow. And he grew up to be Gizmo. We called him Gizmo. But I'm walking down the driveway. This is about, 12, 13 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And Mom is outside. And I see this little kitten run under the porch from under the, at the time, the horse trailer or the camper, one of the two, and under the porch. And I was like, Mom, was that a kitten?
Yeah.
She goes, I don't know. And I looked under there. Sure enough, it was a baby kitten.
Huh.
A little gizmo, and that cat was a tabby, and he grew up to be big, like just massive, not fat but big. one of the coolest cats you'd ever see. He used to sleep on Dad's neck when Dad would be sitting at the computer.
Right.
And then, it was the coolest cat. Jennifer,
I
my
had a cat
niece,
that would sit on my neck too. It was
would
pretty
dress this cat in doll clothes, drag her everywhere, and she would just, he was cool with it.
neat. Surprisingly.
You know, he loved having his belly rubbed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's rare. I had a cat that liked being bathed.
Said, "Man,
Well, when it was a kitten. When he grew up, he didn't need bathed. I just made sure he was treated for fleas and stuff, and he just kept himself clean.
I think it's cool when you go over to someone's house and their cat takes a liking to you.
Yeah,
And it
that's
just
cool.
sits on your lap. Kind of makes you feel important.
Yeah,
Because, cats look down at us like they're better than us.
right.
Dogs look up to us. And I've said this before. And pigs see us as equals.
Right.
But pigs are one-person animals. Like, they'll take to one person, and then that's their person.
Hmm.
They don't really become a multi-person. I mean, they're not mean. I guess pigs can be mean, though. Oh, man. It's time for us to get out of here.
Is it really?
Yeah. Already.
Well, my pig wouldn't be a one-person pig. I'd share him with everybody.
Well, yeah. Bacon and sausage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I
Well,
think I got. I
That
know
wasn't very
that's
nice.
that's hilarious. What are you talking about? It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Share your food.
But now, potbelly pigs, those aren't ones that are good for eating, are they?
I mean, you can.
Are they good food? Are they,
I've never actually eaten. You'd have to ask my dog from back then.
oh, no.
But they'll grow up. I mean, if you feed them too much,
Mhm.
I mean, because they won't stop eating. They'll just eat and eat and eat.
Right.
They can get up to between 200 and 400, 500 pounds.
Really?
Potbelly pigs.
Wow.
I think all pigs are kind of have pot bellies, if you ask me.
One of our
See you,
regular
Jana.
listeners
Thank you.
had pigs, and I got to see them on his farm. He fed them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Their nutrients and
Larry?
stuff. Yeah, Larry Milton
Yeah,
getting them ready for the harvest.
Yeah, you actually. Did you eat some of that?
No.
I did.
Oh, did you?
It was delicious.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Good.
He gave me some pork steaks and he gave me a little roast, and man, it was good. Yeah,
Pig is good.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the flavor of it.
I do too.
It's good.
Now I like beef. I like steak, plain Jane, salt and pepper, seared on one side, seared on the other, medium rare.
Yeah.
Perfect. You don't have to do anything fancy. Like this brisket that I'm gonna smoke, the tri-tip.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do anything fancy to it.
Can you salt cure beef
Yeah.
like you would ham?
Yeah.
See, I'd like to try that.
You
like
also
a
dry
good
cure.
cut. and see.
If you don't know what you're doing though, and you don't have the right
You
temperature,
kill yourself with some
yeah,
bacteria.
yeah, get eye worms or whatever.
Ooh.
Um,
Ooh, I don't
But
want
this
those.
brisket, I'm not gonna do anything fancy to it.
Worms are bad.
I'm gonna put some coarse sea salt on it, and some crushed black pepper,
Ooh.
and I'm just gonna let it set
In a bag.
in
Or
a bag for a little bit, and then I'm gonna smoke it. Nothing fancy. I'm gonna smoke it super low
Yum.
for probably 5-6
Super
hours. It's
low.
only 3 pounds, so I could get away with a 4-hour smoke
Mm.
because you can do 1 hour per smoke. But I'm gonna keep it so low, the temperature so low, that I'm gonna make it like 6 hours,
Uh-huh.
and of course I'll have to have it under something under it because it's gonna fall apart.
Ah.
My mouth is water. I just
As
spit
it
on
falls
this.
apart, you want it to be in something you can get it and
Yes.
eat it out of.
Yes, absolutely. Like whenever I picked it up from the grocery store, and it's where they cut the meat themselves there.
Mhm.
I asked him for it. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna smoke it," and he looked concerned.
Yeah.
Like, does this guy know what he's doing?
Uh-huh.
I said, "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I'm not gonna." I said, "I know. I'm gonna keep it probably no higher than 150 degrees during the whole thing." He goes, "Okay, you want to make sure it's really low
Yeah.
and really slow."
Or else it'll turn tough.
Yeah, well, not just that. You'll ruin you don't want to. I think with that brisket, you don't want it to be medium, not well done, not medium rare. I guess you could make it medium rare. It'd be okay.
I first saw your little smoker and it was smoking.
Yeah.
It was doing what it do. It was doing what it do.
Yeah, you thought it was going to be crappy, but you looked at it. It was
No, as soon as I saw
you're like, that thing
does what it's supposed
It
to
is.
do.
it's a beautiful. I've got some
It was
slow motion
beautiful,
videos out there of it.
Yeah, we got to fix that thing up and make it look good.
Yep.
Make it look like it's a Ami
Yeah.
smoker
Yep.
for feeding Amis.
Feeding Amis. All right, so it's time for us to get out of here.
Yes.
It's been time, but we just, been having so much fun talking. We got a show coming up next, and it's the Power Hour with Skylar Carter. So, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the morning drive today. We'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. Be sure and tune in next for the Power Hour with Skylar Carter, and he talks about the color orange and fire. So,
The color orange.
yep, until then, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt,
My name is Jay.
and this has been The Morning Drive.